Are you ready? Let it bounce.
Hey everyone, happy Friday, and you guys know it's time to check in for hashtag Make 9 2025. So listen, last week, let me give you a recap first of where you should be. So last week, you had 9 items to do, or 9 action items, I should say. Let's run through it real quick. So last week it was about not only picking your pattern, but you had to cut out your pattern as well. So a couple of things you should have done was, number 1, pick your pattern. Number 2, gather those supplies. That would be your notions, your scissors, your tools, your pattern itself, and the fabric. So you need to gather your item. Number 3 was to pre-wash your fabric. If you don't pre-wash your fabric, we leaving that in 2022, 2023, 2024. I don't want to hear it, but this year start pre-washing your fabric because you don't want it to shrink. Now, let's just be real. Some fabrics you may be like, I have never had my fabric shrink. It's going to be that one time when you say that and it's actually going to shrink. So let's get in the habit of pre-washing the fabric. That's one of the main things that I want you guys to start doing this week. Number 4 was to read those instructions, and number 5 was to take those notes. And then number 6 was to prep the sewing area. That means getting your threaded for your serger and your sewing machine. Number 7 was to cut the pattern, okay? Cut the pattern. Number 8, or you could say this is all together. When you're cutting your pattern, you needed to share the assembling of putting together your PDF pattern, if applicable, simply because some people may not be doing a PDF pattern and they're just doing a paper pattern. If you are doing both PDF or paper pattern, you need to cut the pattern. Cut the pattern like it says. And the last action item that you needed to do was take your measurements, both body measurements, and take the measurements on the pattern and make adjustments as you need to. All right. So cut the pattern and make adjustments is what you needed to do last week, in addition to choosing your pattern and doing those 6 to-do lists as well. Now this week is all about making adjustments to your pattern. Now, if you notice, I have not said anything about cutting fabric yet, okay? We're not cutting fabric until next week. But what I do need you to do is make your adjustments and make a muslin, okay? So make your adjustments to your pattern, make your adjustments, before you cut out your fabric or your muslin. And yes, get in the habit of making a muslin this year because we don't want to waste fabric. We are 0 waste this year. All right. So those are your action items this week. And I will catch you next week for some more updates of hashtag Make 9 2025. And just to remind you, this is the pattern that your girl is using, which is McCall's 8053. Now, I am behind, but we're getting caught up this week so I can share more behind the scenes with you guys myself. All right, so that's it for May 9, 2025, and I'll catch you next week. Peace.
Are you ready? Let it bounce.